There should be a playful style in a family. You need to play along with your wife. For example, my wife says, "It should be like this." She says it seriously, and I say, "Yes, yes, that's right." Although I know it's not right, it doesn't matter. There's no point in proving anything in family life. If she needs to, she'll understand what's right on her own, won't she? If she wants to, she'll understand. There are situations when you need to persuade. Let's say your wife starts developing a cyst in her thyroid gland. I say, "My dear, you need to move." But a woman's body is lazy. She doesn't want to move. And the husband doesn't inspire his wife. I say, "You need to move, my dear. You can't be lazy. Otherwise the cyst will continue to grow." 2 months passed. She comes back from her test and says, "It's gotten bigger. The doctor says there's already a danger. It needs to be removed." I say, "My dear, perhaps it's time for us to start running together." She says, "Perhaps it's time." She got scared and started running. The cyst decreased in size. There's no more danger. And now she understands that she needs to run. She already has this understanding. She still strives for this even though a woman's body is lazy. But even though a woman's body is lazy, she gets strongly inspired by friends. If her friend runs, she will also go for a run, because her friend already runs. A woman's body, a woman's psyche are designed this way. If a friend does something, she also has the desire to do it. Well, my friend is doing it, and I'm not. She needs to run with her friend without fail. That's how the female psyche is designed. She doesn't necessarily have to run with her husband. Let the husband run by himself. He's a man, let him run. But if her friend, a woman, runs, there's no getting out of it. Men, do you understand why women behave this way? Since you're a man, you should run, work hard, suffer. She likes that. Do you know why women behave this way, men? Would you like me to reveal a secret to you? Because they were born to rest. A woman's body is designed for rest, not for healing practices. A woman can perform healing practices out of love. When she loves someone, she can perform healing practices for her children, for her husband, if she loves. She can do it for a friend, go for a run with her out of love. But for the sake of healing practice itself, she will not make an effort on principle. And if she strains her female body for the sake of healing practices, she will go crazy. Her psyche will start breaking down. She'll feel bad. She'll start feeling nauseous from these runs. She won't be able to think about it without breaking into a cold sweat. Therefore, you need to be indulgent toward a woman, toward your wife. She says, "I can't be in this kitchen anymore. I'm tired." You should say, "Yes, yes, yes, my dear, that's it. You're tired. Go have a rest." Take her away. Wash everything yourself. If you do this once instead of her simply wash everything, she will be so happy that afterward she will always wash things herself. I've had such cases several times. My wife says, "I can't wash these dishes." I say, "Let me wash them." She says, "You'll wash them poorly. I won't let you." I say, "Let's make a compromise then. Let me wash, and you watch and command, showing me where the dirt is." She says, "I'm fine with this option." We stood up. I wash. She shows me. This here. 2 plates were really challenging for me. She points, I think. Well, there's no dirt anymore. She says, "Yes, there is." I look, there's definitely dirt there. I washed and washed. I washed 2 plates. She rested while commanding, rested and said, "Go now, I'll wash the rest myself." I got her involved in the process. It's very difficult for a woman to get involved, but once she gets involved, it becomes easy for her afterward, because her willpower functions are weak. Women have weak willpower. As soon as she gets involved, and you need to help her get involved, then she does it herself. This is also a variant of the relationship between a man and a woman. It's very valuable to know what a loved one wants. A female birth is designed for rest. Of course, a woman will clean and do laundry, but this is not the essence of her birth. The essence of her birth is happiness, enjoying life. When she eats, she enjoys. When she loves, she enjoys. She is the one who enjoys relationships. A woman is the enjoyer, and everyone else gives her enjoyment. She enjoys being with children. She was born for enjoyment. What was a man born for? For overcoming his fate. He also experiences happiness when he overcomes his fate. It's a man who needs to work hard to overcome his fate. And a woman also sometimes works on herself. She also gets inspired to work on herself, but out of love, not out of healing practice. Therefore, women should learn to look for other women like themselves, women who would help each other learn to live correctly. Who needs such a friend? Raise your hand. Now everyone who raised their hands, stand up. Ladies, stand up. Look at the auditory. Who liked whom? Stop. Keep standing. Who liked whom? Look at who liked whom. Beckon with your finger, and then meet after the lectures. Why are you shy? Make arrangements, meet, communicate. For women, the most valuable thing is friendship with women. Remember that. How much does a woman need to be friends with women in order to get married? Now we're getting into mathematics of fate. How many women need to be friends with a woman for her to get married? Who says 5? Raise your hand. You have about 7 or 8. Next, who's raising their hand? 4 women are enough for you. Raise more hands. You need about 10 people.
Not enough.
Not enough? How many are you missing?
1 more.
You already have 9?
I only have 1.
Oh, my dear, that's very few. Such arithmetic. How many friends do you need?
I have many friends.
You're married, right?
Not yet.
I'm somewhat doubtful, but you do have someone. No? Then there will be someone in the coming days. Probably almost there already, somewhere nearby. When a girl has many friendships with girls, her opportunity to get married increases more and more. The energy of love circulates. It grows more and more. And at some point it overflows her, and then she starts knocking men off their feet. That's how her fate works. Let's study the topic practically. A woman says, I'm tired of my husband. What does this mean? What distance? What kind of relationship? What's happening? I'm tired of my husband. Who can answer this question? The distance is close. How does each person behave? The husband is attached to his wife, that's right. I'm tired of my husband. The husband is attached to his wife. What should be done? Gently, kindly, but firmly discipline him. Keep a distance from him. Discipline him. Don't let him get too close, because this will lead to the destruction of the family. You need to know why. Some women strongly blame themselves for this. They say, I can't build intimacy with my man. It's disgusting to me. And he's my loved one. I like him. He's a good person, but I'm tired of him. What should I do? You have the wrong relationship. He is attached to you. You're depleting yourself in the relationship. You need to explain to him, give a little distance. Let's not be so dependent on each other. Explain this to him. Explain it until he understands, and don't spend so much energy. Next, the second option. A man says, I don't love my wife. I don't have good feelings for her. What does this mean? I don't like when I have no feeling at all. There are 2 options. The first option, the wife is attached strongly. As you said, she has depleted my feelings. I'm tired of her attachment. The second option is a bad astrological period. The time comes and boom, this energy of love simply ends, sometimes prematurely, and then it starts again. What should you do during this time? Work on yourself, pray, so that you don't say, I don't love my wife. Well, you don't love her and that's it. What's the big deal? But if you depend on this, it means that you are attached to her and not getting what you need from her, and this annoys you. And what does a person do? Gets attached to someone else, tries to replace one attachment with another. And what should you do? You need to simply overcome this obstacle through prayer and take care of your wife, so that you can feel love from her through gratitude. She becomes grateful and you love her again. A mother oppresses her daughter. What does this mean? The mother wants to exploit her daughter. She is attached to exploitation, to her humility, her obedience. The daughter is humiliated, cannot behave normally. She has low self-esteem. The daughter needs to become strong, accept her mother, accept her strictness, agree with her, but not give in. Become strong within herself, agree, but live her own life. Keep a greater distance, because if you feel she is oppressing you, it means you also want maternal love from her. If a mother humiliates herself before her daughter, the daughter grumbles at her mother. What does this mean? It means that the mother is attached, she is humiliated, and the daughter has become impudent. What should the daughter do? Carefully explain to Mom, Mom, we have an incorrect relationship. I should be more polite to you, and you should be stronger. And the mother should distance herself from her daughter, become independent from her, become dependent on God. And then gradually, kindly discipline her, explain how to behave better in a kind way, and not declare war on her. Everything is always resolved through kindness and strictness. All relationships are always restored through kindness and strictness. They are not restored only through kindness or only through strictness. Learning happens through kindness and strictness. You can be strict with someone if you care for them. One woman tells me, Dr. Torsunov, I distance myself from my husband. After 2 weeks, he calls me and says, listen, distance yourself for another week. I'm resting so well without you. This means she didn't care for him and distanced herself. There's no gratitude in his heart, so he's not waiting for her. She simply exhausted him, and now he's resting. It means she was attached to him, exhausted him, and then distanced herself. Wonderful. He's resting. He was exhausted, but now he's resting. What questions do you have on this topic? Your question.
My brother really mistreats my mother. What should I do?
Sit down, sit down. How does he mistreat her? Your mother has a very strong character.
He mocks her and things like that.
Really? He's breaking her character. This is a bit different. This is a different situation. A man, by his nature, every man is a rooster. He crows if a war starts. If war has begun, he immediately starts to crow. Therefore, you should never start a war with a man, because by nature he either fights or doesn't fight, one of the two. A man is designed this way. Either he fights or he doesn't fight. What did your mother do? In her time, she behaved in a very harsh style with this child. She oppressed him. She had a kind of harsh style with him. After 13 years, after puberty, he began to rebel, because if a man doesn't rebel, he loses himself. He becomes a pushover. He began to rebel. She is a very strong person, but she is aging now. And he is getting younger. He has become strong, powerful, masculine, and she has become weak because she is aging. So now the advantage has shifted in his favor, but she doesn't give in. That means she continues to behave very harshly with him. Do you know why women behave harshly with men? Because they have a natural fear of men, fear. The best way to wage war is to attack. You need to anticipate your opponent, attack first, and then you've won. Therefore, women feel weak in relation to men. They attack first with the aim of winning. When a woman attacks a man, what happens? The man responds. Yes, his rooster mode turns on. He starts to attack and off it goes. I faced male nature myself when I was only 3 years old. I went to visit my grandparents on my father's side. They had their own farm, and I was always interested in watching relationships. I went to look at the hens and roosters. There were chickens walking around. Since they were so pretty, I started chasing them. Well, naturally, a child wants to grab and touch something beautiful and alive. I started running after the chickens. I chased the chickens, ran, and then I began to hear a strange sound. Then I saw that one chicken wasn't running away, and it turned out it wasn't a chicken. When I approached this chicken closer, this chicken stood very proudly before me, with its head held high and shaking its comb. I thought, what an interesting chicken, let me catch it. I approached it. This chicken jumped up and hit me in the forehead. I fell down, knockout. It really hit me right here, and I completely lost consciousness. Then they rescued me, of course. They came running, chased the rooster into a corner. In general, everything ended well, but I remembered that I shouldn't bother chickens, or the rooster will peck me. Similarly, when the chickens themselves bother the roosters, the same thing happens. Let's examine 2 reasons why a husband beats his wife. The first reason is not what you ladies call it. The classic first reason is that she responds aggressively to his strictness. She argues with him very harshly, trying to break him. When someone tries to break a man, he has 2 options, either to break and become a pushover and completely lose himself, or to beat his wife. He first starts to yell, trying to suppress her. If she doesn't submit, he starts to beat her, meaning fight with her, as with someone who is trying to defeat him. He threatens her first. This is always how it happens, ladies. Therefore, you shouldn't try to defeat a man with pressure. This is incorrect thinking. A woman should defeat a man. There are 2 options to do that. Either with silence, that means leave and close off, or with tears. Tears are the simplest way. She cries and it immediately relaxes him. That's it. So he has already won. What's next? Continue fighting?
What if it happens again? I cried, went away, was alone, then came back and everything started again.
It depends on what starts. If a woman behaves aggressively, that means that she's breaking a man's mental state. What should a man do? He should leave this person, close himself off, because there are 2 options. Either hit her or leave her. There are no other options. If a woman breaks a man's mental state, the man starts to behave like a warrior. He can't stop. His mental state collapses. This is very dangerous behavior with a man. It's generally dangerous. A woman can cry, can complain to him about him. Cry, complain, reproach, but not call him names. Be rude and break him. This should not be done. This is a masculine style of behavior. It's not acceptable with a man. The same goes for a man. Let's say he can behave strictly, he can be silent, he can make amends. But if a man starts crying with a woman, that's it. Her mental state collapses immediately. She cannot tolerate this, and she leaves such a person. She loses love for him, stops loving such a person. When a woman behaves aggressively, she tries to break a man. The man loses love. When a man cries, a woman loses love. This behavior is unacceptable. And this unnatural, paradoxical behavior is unacceptable in a family relationship. The second reason why a man hits a woman. It's what you said, the woman becomes a doormat, allows him everything, is afraid of losing him. Usually this happens when a woman has a low social status and a man has a high one. It's as if she married God. She's allowed everything. She gets a nice apartment. He provides her with everything. She has become very dependent on him. Imagine, he does whatever he wants with her. I even know a case when a man brought another woman home in front of his wife. In front of his wife, that means she slept in one room, he was with another woman in another room, and he said, "You can leave if you want, everything here is mine, or you can live with me. I do whatever I want here." This is how she let the situation develop. It's her fault. We later talked with her about this topic. It's her fault because she allowed him too much. She became too dependent on him, and as a result, he became impudent. A person can become impudent to the most insane degrees. Believe me, this happens very quickly, and the person himself doesn't understand that he has already become like this. This is just how life is structured. If one person humiliates themselves, they keep pouring oil on the flames. Similarly, a woman can become impudent, just like a man. Sometimes a woman even beats her husband. She's so impudent that she beats him up and he endures it. There's a story from a humor magazine. A woman went to sell her husband at the pet market. They sell all kinds of animals there, and a woman went to sell her husband to bargain. Some women approached. Well, it's a humorous story. They started bargaining with her. She was selling him for 100 coins, while a goat was being sold for 70. The background is that there was a time in Russia, in the Soviet Union, when all engineers were laid off, all production was destroyed, and he was an engineer. So she no longer needed him because there was no money. And it turned out he was useless. And everyone asks, "Why are you selling him?" She says, "He's a normal guy, works as an engineer. Why I should buy him? Who needs a man without money? I have to feed him." And one woman approaches and says, "I'll take him." They were selling a goat and a man. She says, "I'll take both the goat and the man. Everyone is needed in our farm. Our farm is developing. We'll find work for him." And she put a bun in his mouth. The man eats the bun, looking pleased, and the woman who was selling him stands there in shock. He says, looking pleased, "She understood me, and now I will live with this lady." Such a joke. Yes, that's a great question. Ancient culture explained how to behave when a family is falling apart. In our culture, this option is missing. People think that when a family is falling apart, you either have to stay together until the end, until you're destroyed, or leave forever. But on the contrary, at the moment when injustice begins, you should always have this option, to live separately. Tell your loved one, "I am faithful to you, I'm not going anywhere, but I cannot accept such a relationship." This relationship, there's no one to blame. It's just that such a relationship is unacceptable. If beating, name-calling, rudeness, or threats begin, or a man has already brought home another woman and doesn't want to leave you, then you should start living separately. And you set a condition for him. Then he goes through the next stages. You see, if a person leaves in time at the right time, then the other one cannot leave them. Do you know why? Because there is such a law of family life. If you leave and live separately, then the attraction begins from his heart, not from yours. The one who leaves triggers the mechanism of attraction, and the person can no longer leave. He gets a feeling that he must bring his wife back because she lives separately, and this feeling brings him back to his senses. He becomes reasonable, and then she sets conditions for him, under what conditions they live together. Then he says, "I agree to fulfill the conditions." He tries, but knows that it won't work the first time anyway. Somewhere on the third, fourth time of such separate living, a person can fulfill the conditions. He gradually becomes stronger, and he also needs to be given knowledge during this time. Give him lectures. When he needs you, he also needs knowledge, and at this moment you can teach him how to live right. But if you don't distance yourself from him in time, then it may be too late later. You endure, it goes too far, and between you there is no longer love, but disgust appears, and then, if you live separately, he doesn't come back. Why? Because the relationship has already become very rotten, sour, nobody needs it. Therefore, while there is attraction, you need to use it correctly. If a person becomes impudent, then you start living separately for a little while, but at the same time, you need to keep kind feelings for the person in your heart.
How do you not get attached, not become a servant?
Not get attached, not become a servant? If there is no sense of self-esteem in your heart, you will become a servant. You always need to be dignified. When a woman takes care, she is not servile. She simply brings happiness to her loved one, and this does not mean that she is humiliated by something. In very upscale restaurants or on good airplanes, on good flights, flight attendants and restaurateurs behave very dignified, never humiliated. They behave very beautifully and delicately. They serve, but they can also make a remark, put a person in their place. This is considered the coolest service. When a person has a sense of self-esteem and they serve someone, this is considered the coolest service. Become such a person, and no one will ever consider you a servant. Always serve with great dignity. I am also serving you right now. Am I a servant? No. I'm just trying to help you out of goodwill, that's all.
He forbids me to cry.
Tell him that you want to cry. If you forbid me to cry, do something to make me not want to cry. It's great that he's afraid of tears. If he wasn't afraid, it would be worse. Sometimes a woman is all in tears and he says, "So what?" That means he's emotionally damaged. More like impudent. So you need to not cry anymore, but live separately for a bit, but not leave. In ancient culture, it was not considered a sin to live separately. It's not a sin to live separately. But if you leave, that's already a sin. Or if you stay with someone who humiliates you, that's also a sin. But living separately is not a sin. We don't know, we don't have this option, we don't understand. Either we endure until the end or we leave. One of the two. Both of these are sins.
What about sleeping separately?
Sleeping separately is a terrible topic. Don't ask me about this. When I was studying at the institute, a professor joked with me. He asked me to name a medicine for AIDS. I said, well, this one, that one. He said, there's one more. And he was hinting at sleep alone as a medicine. Sleep alone. Do you understand? Who didn't understand? Raise your hand. Everyone understood. Wonderful. Well, your question, young lady?
Hello, Dr. Torsunov. Thank you very much for the knowledge that allows us to develop.
I think everyone knows the things I talked about today, right?
We know, but it's very difficult to follow every day, to endure, to help other people, and to be such a person.
It's best to talk about what everyone knows, but what needs to be understood more deeply. This is the most important thing, because the knowledge I shared today is key in most divorces. Most people who get divorced don't understand this knowledge deeply.
I have a question. I recently married a young man. I love, value, and respect him very much. For me, he is a real man, an example to me.
And God?
Of course, God comes first.
Really?
Of course.
Then everything is fine.
For me, his most important quality as a man is that he achieves everything himself, tries to do a lot for people, for me, and remains faithful. I see many positive qualities in him, but the situation is that his financial position is much lower than my family's. He tries to achieve everything himself.
My dear, you've already told so much. Now this but sounds not interesting anymore.
Let me explain. My parents are trying to help us financially in every way. We are incredibly grateful for this.
No need. Help is not needed.
I'm starting to feel afraid.
Yes, this is dangerous.
Fear that over time my husband might relax.
This always makes one relax. You see, let's say a man is fighting, he has a sword and a shield, and they give him another sword. They say, here are 2 swords for you, and the opponent has only one. That's it, the man with 2 swords will lose because he relaxes.
My father is trying to provide some financial help for the development of his business.
Under no circumstances. Under no circumstances. To develop a business, the first step is healing practice. The second step is good qualities that attract people. The third step is a good team around you. The fourth step is working out the business on a small scale and understanding how it works. The fourth step is connections. The fifth step is expanding the team. The sixth step is financing. But you want money right away. And then what will happen? 0.
I don't know how to explain this to my parents. My father personally talks to my husband, offering him help. Let me give you some starting capital. You'll develop.
My opinion is that this is very dangerous. I can already see that your relatives will be disappointed in your husband later, and then destruction will follow.
What is the right thing for me to do? How to prevent this situation? Should I talk to my parents or pray?
If there's an opportunity to explain everything to your husband, if he listens to my lectures, then this option is the best. But if he doesn't listen, and there's no opportunity to explain, then pray so that he gains wisdom. Everything here depends not on your parents, but on your husband.
So I should communicate with God and with my husband. Should I try to explain to my parents?
No, they will always try to help.
Yes, that's true.
But it's normal for parents to try to help, but a man should have his own head on his shoulders. You know, when a man says, I will accept help when I'm ready for it, this is a stronger position, do you understand? So the man is not against accepting help, but he knows that the main help should come from himself.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Money destroys everything, any person. There are 3 tests with money. The first test is called fire. When a person doesn't have enough means for life, opportunities, has a low position in society, has to work a lot, there's a lot of injustice around, and their heart burns. Their heart burns, it's hard for them to live, it's difficult. The first test is called fire, and therefore a person should turn to God. When a person turns to God, one receives piety. That means one begins to do good deeds. Good deeds are stored in one's heart and attract luck. The person becomes rich from good deeds. Piety accumulates inside, and the person becomes rich from good deeds. The second test is called water. What is this water? This test. It's money, opportunities, influence. When a person is tested by water, one relaxes very much. A person tested by money, by fire, gets very tense, and because of this tension, their life falls apart. When a person is tested by water, one relaxes, becomes lazy. One's attention span decreases, one no longer understands how to act correctly. One's psyche is not afraid of danger, and dangers come and destroy their life. Therefore, the water test is overcome through internal healing practice, not paying attention to money, doing good deeds, trying to pray, thinking about God, and simply depending on your actions, not on money. The next test is when a person renounces money, although one has it, and begins to use it correctly, wisely. Wisdom comes from charity. When a person can donate money, one can also save it. When a person cannot donate money, they cannot save it. You see, if the person is strongly attached to money, they invest it heavily. They invest a lot. For example, if you've invested a lot of money in something, then you need reliable people, specialists who will handle this. If there are no such people, then all this money is lost, and you will have to pay for it later. If you borrowed it from someone, it means you will have to give it back. And you always have to pay for money. Let's say parents just gave it. It only seems that way. If you use the money incorrectly, it will be very painful for them, because money is blood. And they will suffer because he didn't use it correctly, and the relationship will be destroyed as a result.
What if he wants to invest this money in the right place?
The right place is his own personality, and money won't help here. If he doesn't become strong, he won't attract strong people, and won't be able to be insightful about everything that happens. Only strength gives such things. If a person is not insightful, has no team, it means they cannot run a business properly, even if they set the right direction. Therefore, the first thing he should do is become strong himself. You know, a person may even have a tank. He can drive a tank, but when he's attacked directly, he will turn around and run away right with the tank. And he's just being attacked by a soldier. Why does he drive away with the tank? Because he's afraid, he lacks inner strength. First, he needs to gain strength.
I will try to explain all this to him with love.
Well done, excellent. The main thing is that you understand everything yourself. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much, and see you soon.